America. Good morning. A little bit late this morning. We had a little bit of a lie-in this morning. As you can see, the weather today is glorious. I'm not sure if you're picking it up, but it is a bit windy, to be honest. But the sun is shining. However, we have got some dark clouds on the horizon over there, looking towards Kerry and Amber Lockerbie, which is the village just up the road from us. But other than that, when I look round the back of the house towards Laguna going through to Kamaki, guess what? Clear sunshine at the moment, with just a touch of cloud. So hopefully the sun's going to burn off the cloud this morning, and we won't get any rain. And again, no changes really. Just the fact it's a nice sunny day. It's a little bit windy, and still no word on the oranges yet. We were talking about that yesterday, Jane and I. But anyway, let's have a look at the news for today. There's been quite a bit happening, so I'm going to get down to it. I've also had some, shall we call, stop press as well. And I've just realised I actually didn't bring my mouse out with me, so I better get me mouse. Where's me mouse? There's me mouse. I won't show you, Jane, because you sat in a dressing gown. All right, with cats around here at the moment. There we go. Quick shallow to Ronnie Woods over there, Chippy Woods over there in Spain. Also, Aaron as well is tuning as well. Lovely to see you this morning. Alfred is also turning up. Right, let me just turn the screen round. Oh, and guess what? I've got no control of the screen. Oh, damn. So I'm just going to have to show you a lovely, pleasant view for this broadcast today. Anyway, the day today is the 6th of December 2020, and it's a Sunday. It is now day 29 of the lockdown. Just out of curiosity, the Greeks are into name days rather than birthdays, and so today is St. Nicholas Day here in Greece. And if your name is Colin, like mine, or Nicholas, guess what? Or Nick, it is your Greek name day today. And for those people who don't know Greece very well, name days are more important than birthdays, believe it or not. So anyway, happy name day to myself. All right. Anyway, COVID in the last 24 hours then. Last night, Greek Health announced that there were 1,383 new cases in Greece, which is down on Saturday, which is good news. New cases of the virus in the country, 14 were actually detected after checks at the country's gateways or ports of entry. And I think that was actually down on the day before as well. So that brings the total number of cases of COVID virus since the actual virus pandemic started as to 145,600. Sorry, no, I'll say that again. Oh, that number doesn't look right. No, I'm not going to say the total number because I've got a feeling that that number is not right at the moment, and I don't want to mislead anybody. But anyway, total number of cases. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought there. Anyway, people who are in ICUs at the moment, which is also important stats at the moment, that is also down on yesterday. We've got 594 people who are in ICUs across the country. The average age of these people is around about 65. 171 of these are women. Obviously, the rest are all men. They all have underlying diseases, are over the age of 70 or are older. And 641 patients have actually been discharged from ICUs since the pandemic has started. Anyway, finally, unfortunately, we've had 98 more deaths, which, believe it or not, is the same number of deaths that we had yesterday. Okay, or sorry, on the day before. So that's 2,902 deaths in total in the country. 1,156 of those were women. That was about 39.8%, and obviously the rest of men. Now, when it comes to deaths, the average age for people passing away is around about 79 years of age, and 96.1% of them actually had underlying diseases or were aged over 70. There have been a few deaths of young people here in Greece. The youngest person that was reported was about 19, but that person had been having treatment for open heart surgery and obviously succumbed to the virus while in hospital. Anyway, the government has now confirmed last night that as the situation allows, small shops, bookstores, florists and toy retailers will likely open after December the 14th, when the lockdown is planned to be lifted. Okay, regarding cafes, it is hoped that they will be open before the Christmas period by utilising their outdoor areas, but with customers strictly adhering to social distancing. So it's not 100% confirmed. They're just sort of hinting at the moment, the government, that they will allow other retail stores to open on the 14th. However, like naughty school children, this seems to be the way governments across Europe at the moment. However, if crowding or irresponsible behaviour is prevalent, the restrictions will be reimposed immediately. Yes, sent to bed without your tea. All right. Anyway, throughout the Christmas period in Greece, travel outside of your home region will not be allowed. So I can see loophole looming there for people who live in or work in Athens, saying, oh, I've got to get back to Zakynthos because that's where my residential home is. If they're good enough to put their COVID virus status, if they register positive in Athens and put it on our register over here, then I can see them making it forcefully known that they want to travel back to the island for Christmas. But we shall wait and see how that plays out, because it's so easy to lock the island down. It baffles me as to why they don't do that exactly. Right, now, also I had some hot press news come in this morning. Clinical trials will soon be underway in 5 hospitals across Greece to determine the potential of an inoculation with a cocktail of monoclonal antibodies. I hope I said that right. Which in other trials across the world has shown to be promising in fighting the coronavirus. Now, the treatment is not an alternative to a vaccine. Let's get that clear, all right? But it could be especially useful in fighting the virus in hospitalized patients who are suffering serious or life-threatening conditions. Anyway, monoclonal antibodies are laboratory-created proteins that mimic the immune system's ability to fight off harmful antigens such as viruses. Anyway, the clinical trials will use monoclonal antibodies that have been specifically designed to attach to the spike protein of the COVID virus, blocking the virus's ability to attach to and enter human cells. Anyway, the trial will continue both in hospitalized patients with mild or moderate symptoms, as well as those who are seriously ill, to determine the efficiency of the treatment. And that information was only just released this morning. So again, that is hot off the press. Anyway, for those people thinking it's Sunday, I'm going to go out and about, okay, because that's the Greek thing to do on their app for exercise, all right? There has been a lot of issues about what constitutes how far you are allowed to go from your home. All right. Now, just be aware, the Ionian Islands police departments are continuing their implementation of the measures to prevent and limit the spread of coronavirus. Figures were released just yesterday. For last Thursday, they've been out and about. In midday in Corfu, police arrested a local businessman for operating his retail business while it should have stayed closed. He was fined €5,000 and also had a fortnightly closure of his company imposed upon him, which is not going to help him, considering that seasonal shops can open tomorrow, which we're all looking forward to. However, also during other inspections carried out, there were 6 violations in Zakynthos, as to who the people involved were. There were 4 in Corfu, there was 1 in Macardo, 1 in Kefalonia, and all of these people were done for not wearing their masks. All right, so just bear that in mind. Also, as well, there were infringements of restrictions in movements, i.e. people either hadn't checked out on their phone to say that they were going wherever they were going, or the police didn't like their explanation of what they were doing, especially for code number 4, helping a friend, all right, which again has been a clause people have been using to move about the island hopefully immune from police prosecution. However, there were 5 people in Corfu done for unnecessary or restriction in movement. In Kefalonia and Zakynthos, we had 4, and there was also 1 in Macardo. Now, all of these people were fined €300. Now, also in Corfu, there was another infringement for excessive number of passengers in a vehicle. Just to remind you, you're not allowed any more than 2 adults in a vehicle. Any more than that, then obviously you will get a €150 fine each passenger. All right, so again, be very careful, especially if you're taking somebody in an emergency to the hospital. Hopefully you'll be stopped by an understanding policeman who will let you know. Just a quick heads up, anybody thinking about going down to the Vasilikos area, down to Banana Beach and around those areas to take a bit of exercise, had a bit of a warning that the police may be in the area today around those locations. And anybody else who's going to go visiting beach locations for a walk this afternoon, just be careful. The police might be out and about looking to find people who are on the beaches when they shouldn't be. All right. Anyway, another story at the moment that's quite big in the local press here at the moment concerning the mayor. The mayor is under fire from all sides in the local press. It seems there's a selection of people called the Andreas faction. Now, they're led by Giannis Angelinos, and they're harshly critical of the mayor, Mr. Ariatakis' tenure at this point. He, after 1 year in office has passed. The local community, they say, has not seen any projects being implemented. Anyway, the faction accuses the mayor of remaining inactive and talking cloudy vagaries along with his staff. However, as time passes, they say that the Zakynthos society sees no work except for an inactive mayor with an inactive staff. They quote problems with the road network in and around the town, which they say remains partly in a state of misery. The care for the safe movement of pedestrians or bicycles throughout the island, they say, is non-existent. The sewage network is awaiting to be tested again for next summer. Waste and its management has become a nightmare, they say, for residents and visitors, and the provision of clean running water is impossible, and the running of sports and culture are white paper on a black background. Now, I think that's some form of saying which the Greeks have, which means maybe that sports and cultural things are non-existent at the island at the moment. Anyway, the article also noted that the only thing that the mayor and his staff are constantly engaged in is to smoke people who spoil their fun. The mayor is being judged on this and his staff, and will continue to be judged more and more harshly as time goes by. Now, the mayor, in his defence, has complained that he received the place neglected. He's talking about the municipality. He said the area had even been abused by the wear and tear of time, and also the lack of programmatic projects of previous administrations, projects that had to start from the day after his swearing in, he said. So basically what he's saying, he'd basically inherited a bit of a shit show, basically, excuse my French. So anyway, he said he had to rephrase his plans and put things forward. Now, I've got to be honest, in kind of defence of the mayor, although me and him, I've spoken with him over the summer period when we had issues with the lockdown and everything else. I've got to be honest, when you look at his first year in office, with everything that has been going on, you've had the pandemic, you've had loss of business due to a very short season. So obviously there's income reductions in taxes and business taxes that the municipality can call upon to bring in, because they've obviously furloughed certain businesses from paying taxes for a while just to get themselves back on their feet. We've not had any sort of St. Denis celebrations or anything of that nature, which also would bring in a lot of money for the island and for the municipality, and also for them to organise as well. We've had 2 lockdowns, one summer, one in before the summer, and then we've had one as the summer's been, as we've gone into now, that we're still in at the moment. He's also had issues from the head of national security about what he's allowed and what are now allowed to do. He's had problems with the regional office as well, again, dictating that they have authority over certain things that he's no authority over. Then, of course, he's had the hurricane as well, which was another thing that was thrown upon him. And then, of course, we've just had the flash flood of last week. And plus, on top of that, the mayor has also had his appeals trial going on for the 2 guys that robbed him of 500,000 euros off him in the streets. OK, so in some ways, he's had a pretty hard first year for anybody who's in public office. And you've also got to remember that also in his defence, he did build a beautiful school up in Volymyr, which has never been allowed to open. He built it with his own money. And so, that's one of the reasons why, I can understand why he's probably very frustrated with the way people are reacting to him at the moment. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. Anyway, and also the last thing, as already mentioned, he's also inherited projects from the last administration which were never finished, i.e. like the sewage works, and also the theatre on the seafront, which again has never been finished. And again, when you go into office with all this work from the previous administrations who said, well, we started it, but we run out of time because we didn't get re-elected, you can see that you're on a hide into nothing. So I think being a mayor on this island is like a poison chalice. But anyway, I'm not sure whether people agree with that or people are still got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got a few more years yet to go. But there are people chomping at his heels, obviously, who want his job, all right? And it's not so much about the man in charge. It's about the people that surround you that have to get on and get the work done. So I'll keep an eye on how the mayor's getting on, all right, and let you know. Anyway, another story, again, which has Zakynthos in relation to it. Italian police arrested 19 suspects, dismantling what authorities say was a criminal organisation that moved migrants from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq and Pakistan to Italy and then to Northern Europe. The investigation led by the prosecutors in Cantalina, Sicily, unveiled a network that involved hired or stolen sailboats transporting migrants via Turkey and Greece to Italy. Then some of them travelled north to the French border and were smuggled by vehicle into France. Thanks to human smugglers based in border towns, police said in a statement. I misread that, didn't I? Anyway, the arrested suspects included Iraqis, Kurds, Afghans and Italians. Police said one of the alleged ring bases was in Bari, southern Italy, where false documents were issued indicating the migrants had housing, a requirement for a residency visa. Other bases were in Milan and Turin in northern Italy, as well as in the town of Ventimiglia near the French border. Others allegedly involved in the scheme falsified work contracts so migrants could successfully apply for permission to reside in Italy. Authorities said the investigation began in 2018, triggered by the arrival of 10 boats near the eastern Sicily city of Syracuse. Anyway, the boats had sailed from Turkey and Greece, from the eastern Mediterranean, and not from Libya, from where for years a majority of the hundreds of thousands of migrants had set out for Italy in traffickers' unseaworthy vessels. Anyway, the investigation ascertained the activities of a network of Italians and foreigners, most of the later holding residency permits issued on the grounds of international protection. The police said the ring was dedicated facilitating the entrance, stay and transit towards Europe of migrants coming from Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan and Pakistan. So anyway, we have had issues with that here on the island. It's quite interesting to note that they were saying that the skippers of these vessels that do take the migrants on boats to Sicily, the skippers are paid about $1,000, about 800 euros, while the migrants are paying 6,000 euros, about $7,200, to be smuggled to Turkey, to Asia via Turkey and Greece, and then obviously into Italy. Now, we've had a few cases here, even in the winter, of migrants appearing on the beaches here. So once again, yeah, something is being done. The Italian police have been hot trying to curtail that. And so again, I'll keep the eye on that as well, because it's always interesting. A lot of people think we're quite far away from what goes on in regards migration. But no, we still get migrants sneaking through here, and even sneaking or trying to sneak through the airport in the summer. The police are very hot on catching people doing that as well. Right, now, I've been asked to emphasise this again by a few people. If you have any issues here in Greece related to domestic violence, and you feel that you need a voice to talk to, or you might need some help, or just to make things aware and known, there is a phone number you can call here, which is, I'll give you the number, 15900, and that is the telephone support line for SOS, all right? So 15900, a free call. Just put that number in your phone, 15900, and somebody will talk to you. Not only will they talk to you in Greek, but they will also talk to you in English as well. So if anybody is having any domestic violence problems, or children having any domestic violence problems, then obviously 15900. That's the number, free call, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They speak English as well as speaking Greek, obviously. Right, let's have a look and see who's tuning in. I can see we've got quite a few people that are looking in at the moment. Lindsay Lamb is looking in. Nice to see you, Lindsay. Sid James. Always do that when I speak to Sid. Thank you. Chippy Woods is also tuning in as well. Nice to see you, sir. Aaron Vardy, nice having you tuning in as well, fella. Thank you for your comments on the show. Alf Ling is looking in as well. Susie Angus is looking in also. Ian Wallace is also tuning in. Ah, nice to see you, Ian. Not seen you about in a while. Nice to have you here. Alan Woodhouse is watching as well. Lauren is also watching. Oh, bless you, Lauren. How are you doing? Are you working at the moment? I heard stories that you were probably working in a care home during what's been going on. But anyway, I hope you're all right, and we hope you get back here for next year as well, my darling. Anyway, nice to see you there, Lauren. Lyndon is also tuning in from Wales. How you doing, Lyndon? I hope the weather there today is as pleasant as it is here. Anyway, nice to see you, fella. Linda Gary as well is watching. Thank you for that tune from Noel Gallagher. Was it Noel or Liam? They both got records out, but that Christmas one he did, absolutely fantastic. What a great song. And I've remembered yesterday evening listening back to Friday's show, what the tune reminded me of. It reminded me of Stop Crying Your Heart Out, which Oasis did a few years ago. So again, but still a great tune. Loved it. Will it be a Christmas number one? We'll wait and see. Do we still get like a proper Christmas number one these days? Well, anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, Linda Gary, nice to see you from Essex. Also, Al Parks up there in Catterick, where it is always sunny. Nice to have you tuning in. Also, again, Christine Wildridge is looking in as well. Tim Crystal is tuning in as well. Our Elvis, he says, morning, DJ Ginge Coldwell. Morning, Tim. I watched part of your online performance the other day. Really enjoyed it. Brought back a lot of memories. So hopefully we'll see you again here next year when all the madness is over. Maybe the madness will be continuing, but in a different way. Anyway, Martin Custle's tuning in, ex-Raffreg buddy, and also frontline worker. He's a paramedic, works for the ambulance service. Nice to see you here tuning in, checking on your old mates. Joanne Curry up there in Scotland is also tuning in at the moment. Scotland, are you going to have a new year? Is the wee horrible woman going to stop having Hogmanay? All I'll say, there could be another Bannockburn on the way there if that happens. Anyway, nice to have you tuning in there, Joanne. Also as well, Dave Norton is looking in as well. Nice to see you, Raffreg buddy. Liz Crystal is also watching in as well, and she says, morning DJ Ginge Coldwell as well. Thank you. I was watching your good husband enjoying his show. Liz Crystal is saying good morning again. Patsy Ann Dobson says, good morning, Ginge. Thought I missed you this morning. I'm so pleased you are taking the pandemic seriously. Shame not everyone is doing the same. Listen, I'll be honest with you now, we are just playing the game. I don't believe everything about this pandemic. I don't like the way the world is changing. The financial institutions are resetting their clocks. There are people that have died from it. There is a virus, although now, is it a virus or is it flu? Because that's what some people are now saying, or some people of science are saying. But we've been sold something. The point is this. We cannot afford to get fined €300 for not wearing a mask. We cannot afford to have a third person sitting in our car for getting €150 each fine. Times are really hard here. Jane didn't get her ECA this year. She was told, I'm sorry, but your company that you work for changed its status from part-time to full-time. So I'm sorry, you don't get your ECA this season. That is a still ongoing concern at the moment, and people have been coming in and telling us exactly the same story, and we're hoping that there might be some movement on that. But this is the reality. We are just playing the game like hundreds of other people, maybe thousands of other people across the world are doing, and not wanting to impose a fine. If people want to be silly and say, right, sod that, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 and go off and not do what they're supposed to do and get fined, well, they've only themselves to blame. But we're looking out for ourselves here at the moment. We think it's madness that the island has got no virus on it. We are still shut down. We are an island. We can control people coming in through the airport and through the port. So we should be open and running as normal. In fact, if anybody should be in tears at the moment, and I'm talking about COVID tears, it should be us. We should be in a green zone at the moment with no worry. People doing their business, people running their shops, people being able to shop. The only people at the moment who are making money from this pandemic I can see on this island are the supermarkets, the big supermarkets, and also the motorcycle couriers who are delivering goods that people are ordering online. Nothing wrong in that, but I'm sure if you're running a shop and all you're seeing is people standing in queues, and I'm not exaggerating when I say queues, down the street to pick up their parcel from ACS or from some of the other parcel courier companies, I'm telling you what, if I was a shop owner, I would be absolutely furious at what is going on. And again, yes, a little bit of civil disobedience, but at the same time, people can't afford it. And this is where they have you. They will make an example of you. They will fine you to wear you down. Unless everybody rises up and everybody's going to stick together on this, then I'm afraid we're just playing the game, all right, keeping our heads down, just hoping at some point common sense will prevail and we can then obviously go back to a normal life. Anyway, that's my rant of the day. I'm getting lots of hearts coming up at the moment. Sujan Waldron is looking in as well. Lovely to see you. Also, George from Benico's is tuning in as well. Lovely to see you here, George, as well. I know you're probably one of these people who's really frightened about what's going to happen for next year because you've got a business this year that suffered greatly with the lack of people coming. Noel Lester is also watching as well. Andrew the Fridge Watkins over there in Wales is tuning in. Lovely to have you with us there. John Davis is watching as well. Mike Pumphrey is watching in as well. Shane Bowen is also watching. Nice to have you looking in, Shane. Also, Andy Orchard, another frontline worker as well. Lovely to see you as well, fella. I know you've been very busy, and I think if I'm right, didn't you have it for a little bit, the virus, and then had to go into self-isolation before going back to work? I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, nice to have you tuning in anyway, and thank you for your comments about the music that you've done as well in the past. Shane Bowden says, Galamera Ginge from a glorious sunny watch it. I'm looking now and it's suddenly gone dull. Andrew the Fridge Watkins says, morning, Ginge, from a lovely sunny cold Wales. Oh, crisp mornings. Tim Crystal says, thanks, buddy. Really weird singing to a phone. Not the same as a real crowd. Can't wait. Listen, mate, you got to do what you do. You got to keep your image out there. You got to keep people reminding that you're still turning and burning. And I'm so pleased that I do what I do, because do you know what? I actually enjoy what I do in the way of my broadcasting. And do you know what? It just helps get us through this crazy pandemic, all right? Rosewood is watching. Rosewood says, well said, Ginge. Thank you for that, Rose. I greatly appreciate that. I'm not sure if you're still on the I'm still on the island, if you're still on the island, or whether you're still looking after your mum back in the UK. Ian Booth, Boothy's watching as well. Nice to see you, Ian. He says, hi, Ginge, Sid here. Oh, Sid's cap, hope brings me back. Rosewood says, as long as the vaccine is not forced on you. Exactly, as long as the vaccine is not forced on you. But you know the thing that worries me? It might not be the government that will force the vaccine on you. It might be private business. It might be the corporations. It might be the holiday companies who say, you can't come here unless you've got a vaccine. So in some ways, unless you want to be stuck in the UK or stuck where you are, you can't do what you want to do. And that little freedom is taken away from you. Why? Oh, because we're trying to protect everybody. Listen, from the word go, this is like another form of flu. Let it go through the system. Just protect the vulnerable, protect the old, and let it take its course. When you looked at the figures for people with strokes, heart attack, cancer, it was far higher than what the COVID virus has been. So we've been sold. Oh, and then when you look at what people have been bailed out, like in America, $4 trillion to the corporations, while the people of America got a poxy $1,200 check, one-off payment, if they were lucky. You know what? There is a lot of hurt coming over there, and nobody is saying this word. Oh, we're heading for a recession. Not we're heading for a depression, because that is what we're heading for, a depression that is probably worse than the 1929 depression, which decimated the world and also set the world up for what would become World War II. But that's another subject. I'm ranting again, aren't I? Anyway, Bob Monroe is watching. Tim replies to Rose, lost mum on island. Bless. I'm not understanding that one. Tim Crystal says, so sorry for your loss. She sends hugs. Anyway, Anne Cowell is watching as well. Right, listen, I've gone on long enough. I will be back again tomorrow. I think this has probably been one of my longest broadcasts, with probably one of my biggest audiences at the moment. Anyway, once again, we'll see what happens, what transpires. I'll keep ear to the ground, and we'll see what happens. And as I speak now, the weather is starting to get a little bit darker. Anyway, you take care, have a great day, and I'll chat to you soon. Ta.